Okay, so for my first CCR, I have decided to do a Fortnite gameplay while I answer the first question. So, question one: how does your product use or challenge conventions, and how does it represent social groups or issues? So, for my product, we decided to create the opening of a thriller called Runaway. And the story does follow a military brother searching for his kidnapped sister. And the opening ends with the reveal of the sister being locked in the kidnapper's trunk. One common convention of thrillers is building tension early on and introducing a clear problem. And we did decide to implement this by centering the opening around the brother actively looking for his sister at the mall. So from the start, the audience already understands that something serious is happening. But instead of revealing everything immediately, we decided to hold back on that important information. So, for example, like when the brother briefly interacts with the kidnapper, nothing really dramatic happens. So there's no obvious clue that he's the villain. And this does create subtle tension rather than like an immediate action. And the audience might feel that something is off, but it's not completely obvious and they don't know why yet, right? Um, the major shift happens when we stop following the brother and we start following the kidnapper instead. That change in perspective is important because it changes what the audience knows. So when we finally get to see that the sister is in the trunk of a car in an empty parking garage, this creates tension, and that's because the audience now knows more than the protagonist, right? So it creates anxiety and dramatic irony and makes the situation feel a lot more serious. We also decided to use restricted narration, meaning we didn't give the audience full context or a backstory. Um, I feel like this is because it keeps the focus on the present moment and creates more of a mysterious vibe. The kidnapper sending messages to his quote unquote boss suggests that there might be a larger criminal network, which we did try to showcase that um, in our film. And this does raise the stakes without needing a whole lot of dialogue. So, in terms of representation, I feel like the brother is shown as more calm and controlled, especially during the phone call where he says that they need to treat the situation more seriously. We decided to use a military identity because it reinforces discipline and responsibility. In contrast, the kidnapper is presented as quiet and calculated, especially in a setting as an isolated garage, you know? And although the sister's only shown very briefly, we tried to avoid making her scene overly dramatic or violent. So instead, the focus is more on suspense. And we did this because it avoids exaggerating her vulnerability and keeps the tension psychological rather than like graphic and ooh, spooky. Um, Overall, I feel like our film uses key thriller conventions like tension, restricted narration, and perspective shifts. However, instead of relying on action scenes, we do build suspense through what the audience knows compared to what the protagonist knows. Um, this encourages viewers to keep watching to see how the brother will respond once he discovers the truth, and that's exactly what we wanted to show.